I want to talk about comfort zone, danger zones. Now, I'm not talking about a comfort zone like a cold, wintry day, sitting at home in a nice warm onesie with a fireplace going and a puppy dog on your lap and a cup of coffee and your favorite movie playing. Can you tell I'm yearning for that time? I love those kind of days. I'm not talking about that kind of comfort zone. No, I'm talking about comfort zones that we fall into in our life that become danger zones because we get too comfortable, which can equate to getting too stuck, which can equate to feeling discomfort with our lives, anxiety with our life, and even depression. Because there's always an impetus within us to move forward in our life, to create and generate more good for ourselves and others. I think every human I've ever met has some desire to move forward in some direction in their life and in their daily living. But comfort zones can become very comfortable because they're familiar, because we have a self-awareness that kind of puts us in our proper place based on all sorts of things going on in our lives. So I'm inviting us to consider today the willingness that we might have to see some of those comfort zones as danger zones to the evolutionary journey of our life, of our soul, of our highest and best living. Now, here's a comfort zone, danger zone. I want to quote somebody. I've been taking a look at a lot of his work lately. He is a social media influencer. That's the title that he has. And his name is Michelle C. Clark. And here's his quote. He says, "When you're nervous about stepping outside of your comfort zone, remind yourself, it feels scary because it's unfamiliar, not because you're incapable." Ooh, now there's a danger zone in our comfort zones, isn't it? That's pointing to the belief that I have if I'm trying to do something, step outside of a comfort zone, and it's not happening, to the way that our mind might say, well, it's just not happening because I'm just not capable. I must not have what it takes. I must not have the skills. I'm not talented enough. And it's all of those I'm not enough things that often keep us in the danger zone and keep us from stepping outside of our comfort zone. I'm sure that we can all chant them right now. There are things like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of the good that I am seeking. There are things like, I'm too, fill in the blank. I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too late, I'm too poor, I'm too experienced, I'm too inexperienced, whatever those things are. And we can hear them kind of coming up in our minds as we feel a part of us pushing forward to challenge a comfort zone. What I find is right on the edge of my comfort zone, those voices will start chanting at me. Well, you know, you're too this, you're too that, you're never going to be able to da, 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 da. And sometimes the din of those voices gets very, very, very loud. And there's a reason for this. If that is happening to us, we need to know we're not alone. It happens to most people because most of the good that we seek, most of the transformation that we seek, it's just outside of our comfort zone. And so knowing this, and knowing this is normal, and knowing this is how our mind works and how it tends to process things, can help us to get past it, to literally walk through the wall, out of the danger zone, beyond the comfort zone, and into the possibility zone, into the zone of genius, into the zone of light and creativity and joy. But in order to do this, we have to understand a few things about the way our mind thinks. So first of all, from a neurological standpoint, the brain fires off this chemistry constantly, habitually, even addictively, that is based on our repetitive thoughts. I can't, I shouldn't, I'm not worthy, all these thoughts we've been talking about. And every time we think one of those thoughts, every time it bubbles up to the surface and we don't challenge it, it pours itself through the grooves of our mind, if you will. It makes its home in our awareness, and it becomes a part of who we think we are. I'm of such an age, therefore I can't, or I am this and therefore I can't. And the more we think it, the more we think it, the more we think it, the more we believe it. And our brain is like a search engine, a beautiful, powerful search engine that as we step up out of that danger zone and start to burst through, it will play it for us. Oh, no, remember what we believe. We believe we're this. And so it's part of the way the mind works. This is why science is showing us absolutely that the value of getting into that pattern with affirmations. I've loved years ago, a Unity minister started a campaign for no complaining, and people wore bracelets that every time they complained, they had to stop and put the bracelet on their other wrist. And the goal was to have 30 days of not complaining. This was a pattern interrupt that if we're paying attention, we can cause the brain to kind of stop, because a part of us says, wait a minute, I am enough. Wait a minute, I can do anything. And just taking a deep breath and having a new thought can truly shift us and allow us to see through that wall that we've placed in our way that is merely a thought, a belief that we have built repetitively. So that's part of how we can deal with the neurology of our brain. And then there's the psychology part, that everything that we think builds up a sense of our identity, who we are, what's possible for us. And those identities become a part of our personal sense of self. And so if we think about it, every time we have a new thought about how we want to move forward in our life, the other part of us, that is our identity, an aspect of us, says, now wait a minute. I thought we agreed that we were going to be too old to go out and do that new thing. You're changing the rules on me. And it can hang on, and it can be part of beating the drum of keeping us where we said we wanted to be for years and years. And so how I have dealt with that a lot is noticed these parts of me. Getting up to that edge of my comfort zone and hearing those thoughts and doing my affirmations, getting up to the edge of my comfort zone and hearing that part of my identity that thinks because I'm this or that, or I'm this age or I'm that I can turn to it and actually have an interaction with it. Have a great interaction with it where I can say, wow, I see you. You're the part of me that thinks that I'm too old for this adventure. And you have protected me well, and I'm so grateful. You've done your job. You've been amazing. You've been powerful, and you've done exactly what I asked you to do, and I thank you. And now I've decided to go in this different direction, to make a little change, and I'm going to need your help to do that. And so I want to invite you to join me in a new sense of identity about us. What's the possibility that we can do anything we want? Or what's the possibility that we're the perfect age to make this new change, this new thing come true in our life? What's the possibility that maybe we're never too old to have the life we want to live? And interacting with it in a way, whether it's to journal about it, have a conversation in writing or in a meditation, or sometimes it's just while I'm in my daily life and I stop and I can feel myself just having a quick conversation with some part of me that's bringing up my hesitancy and my resistance. Because these aspects of ourselves are only here to support us. And the truth is, they're only doing what we've charged them to do and what we've asked them to do. And so these danger zones that have been created, we've created them. No one's created them for us. We've created them ourselves. And so it's important when we're wanting to live the best life we could live to consider if we've been giving too much to the danger zones. And if we're willing to step out of the comfort zones and face the danger and recognize that the only danger we face is our own beliefs and ideas about ourselves. And when we start to do this, we can make relevant shifts and change to the directions of our living. Thanks so much for listening.
So we'll take a nice deep breath and fall back into that God space, into that heart space. And in this moment, I recognize that the only thing that there is that God presence, that divine life, that divine love, that infinite creativity. And I know that that source is in every person, every place, everything, every condition, and every situation. And I know the nature of God is love, peace, harmony, joy, abundance. And I know that I am one with that source. And I know that every single person that is listening right this moment is one with that source. I am a beautiful expression of the God life. I live, move, and have my being in the divine presence. And with that understanding, I now declare abundance, prosperity, love in every area of my life. I know that I am healthy. I am always healthy. I know that I am always prosperous. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I know that I am guarded, guided, supported, and directed into the beautiful unfoldment of my life right this moment. I know it is good and it is all good. I know that abundance expresses itself in my finances, in every cell of my body, in every area of my life. I know that my employment is always perfect, is always harmonious, is joyful, is fun, is creative, and is of service to everyone I meet. So I'm so deeply grateful for knowing the truth of my being. I am deeply grateful for all the blessings now manifesting as the result of this prayer. I am deeply grateful for the blessings now manifesting for every person that listens to this prayer this moment. So I release this word into the action of the law, knowing that it is already done as I have spoken. It is that universal creative medium that takes this prayer, these thoughts, and my words, and immediately transforms them into reality. I know that this prayer is perfect, it is present, it is complete, and it is done. So with a very joyful and grateful heart, I now say, and so it is.